First of all, it's a tremendous honor to be here again. Um, I actually think that I've only been here once before, which suggests to me that the last one was so painful that you can't really get away from the impression that it's been at least 5 times. And what is more, I was asked to speak on the same depressing topic. Um, and what a bad way to end a panel with the most depressing part of the discussion. That is the problem with alphabet. It is nonetheless an enormous pleasure and honor to be here. First, because I was able to participate in the birthday celebrations of President Shimon Peres, which was without a doubt among the most remarkable experiences of my life, in many ways and immensely enjoyable. And also to participate in this conference. I'm the wrong person on the wrong topic. I'm the wrong person because, as all the true Europeans in the audience know, I'm not really a European at all. And as the question Stan has posed to me already suggests, and therefore for me to speak on the Eurozone is really rather cheeky. And it's the wrong topic because it's clearly the most depressing. So I'm going to do my best to be a bit more cheerful about it, at least compared to what I said on this topic last year. Now, the bad news everybody knows. The Eurozone economy, like the UK economy, has been essentially stagnant for between 2 or 3 years, depending which bits you take. The Eurozone economy is still more than 2% in aggregate size below the pre-crisis peak, which is now 5 years ago. The same is roughly true for the UK. The only large economy in Europe to be operating slightly above the pre-crisis peak is Germany, and even then, the most successful part of Europe, is well behind the United States. So the aggregate economic performance of the Eurozone and of Europe more broadly is very depressing, there's absolutely no doubt, and stagnation will continue without a doubt this year. We all hope there'll be a little bit of growth next year. The exciting number of 1% has been mentioned. This, of course, doesn't get you very far in any other discussion. So that's the big picture. So what is the good news? The good news is there have been, without a doubt, very remarkable reductions, surprising in a way, in financial stresses, shown in huge declines in spreads between German bond rates and those in the more vulnerable countries. And this is due, of course, in very large part to the decision by the ECB, in my view, more than 2 years too late. I argued for this a long time ago, to intervene by indicating its willingness to buy bonds of governments under stress in the right circumstances. This turned out to be a miracle cure, probably because, above all, the German government made the remarkable decision to back the ECB against the Bundesbank, which I regard as one of the decisive political events in Europe over the last year, and perhaps even longer than that. This event clearly marked, and there were other things going on in credit markets, a turnaround in expectations, a greater optimism. And so in that sense, that's really important good news, and it's given them some breathing space, at least as it appears. But of course, it hasn't solved the problem. We don't even know if the program would work if it were actually implemented. So I sometimes describe it as the most successful monetary program in history precisely because it has never been attempted. It's never actually been put into effect because nobody knows what would happen then. The challenges ahead remain, unfortunately, very, very large. And they are, in essence, to achieve what I sometimes refer to as the trick of the task of turning what is at present clearly a very bad monetary marriage into a really good one. That is to say, one in which everybody feels they're getting more or less what they hoped for and expected when it started. And that does not include monstrous depressions, unemployment close to 30%, youth unemployment over 50%, and apparently, from the creditor country point of view, the need to write blank checks to keep the difficult countries afloat. This is not what they signed up for, but is where they are. So what is needed? First, massive real adjustments, which means very big changes in competitiveness within the Eurozone and externally, very big improvements in the structure of economies as well, fundamental reforms in the Eurozone to create a true banking union which will stabilize the banking system regardless of what happens to individual countries, and of course, much greater discipline on both the financial sector and on the governments than was the case before. And of course, in addition to all this, there remain some very large risks out there. The banking sector is clearly an important risk. We don't know, as I've already mentioned, whether the OMT will work. And the politics are clearly poisonous in many countries in these depression scenarios. So the good news is things definitely look better. The imminent fear of collapse has been warded off. Some real progress has been made in many countries, but the challenges ahead remain large, and I don't expect enormous dynamism in the next few years. Let me dispose of my own country very briefly with two comments. The first is, I really don't know what the British people, God bless it, is going to decide, or even if it's going to be asked to decide whether it should stay in the European Union at some point in the next parliamentary term. We don't even know whether the government, the party that has committed itself to such a referendum, the others have not, will be in power at that time. So we don't know whether there will be a referendum. We don't know what it will actually be about. So what's going to happen there, I don't know. But the core point is absolutely clear. If the Eurozone succeeds, and this is my very last comment, if the Eurozone succeeds in creating a good monetary marriage, a system that works, on which one can be more or less skeptical, and the UK will be an outsider, the new Eurozone will dominate the EU, the place of the UK will inevitably be marginal, and in that circumstance, the durability of this relationship must be in question. So I said that I would end with something really, really depressing, and I probably succeeded. Thank you.